Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. But before I get started, if you don't follow me on X yet, definitely give me a follow and I'll follow you back. All day today I spent writing content for upcoming videos because I'm taking July 4th off. It's my wife's birthday. Yes, she was born on the 4th of July. So I'll be unplugging from the internet for the day, but I'm still going to bring you some great videos. But if you follow me on X, sometimes you get to see what's going to be talked about in a video before it even happens. So we're looking at XRP on the one-day chart, sitting here just above 46 cents. We had a mini dip today. A lot of people said they bought the dip. Other people are now saying we're going to go lower from here before we finally take off. Let's see how it all plays out. Now, real quick, and I'm going to do a video focused just on IBM in a few days once I get back into things. And it comes from a guy that I talked to a couple days ago, an elderly gentleman. And he was talking about IBM. He's not in the crypto or anything like that. But he said that if you're looking at Apple, he said you're missing the massive company that's going to be running the world, which is IBM. And ever since I made my very first video on ISO cryptocurrencies, I kept pointing out, pay attention to IBM. Anybody partnered with IBM is going to be part of the new financial system. He even went on to say that Apple was like a distraction from IBM. Well, then I went to Google and I put in IBM versus Apple. They're used almost exclusively by the largest companies in the world, including 2/3 of Fortune 500 companies, 45 of the world's top 50 banks, 8 of the top 10 insurers, 7 of the top 10 global retailers, and 8 of the top 10 telecommunications companies. And most of those mainframes come from IBM. So when I really looked at this, I thought, well, Apple is for retail more than it is for the banks and the big companies of the world. IBM is for those big companies and the banks. Kind of the way we look at XRP and XLM. But I'm going to do a video just on IBM, and I'm going to try to make all the connections to the cryptocurrencies that IBM is working with. Because I think if a crypto company is working with IBM, they are going to be part of the new financial system. Breaking: pro XRP lawyer Fred Rispoli expects Judge Torres to rule on remedies by July, possibly even on July 13th or by July 31st at the latest. This is what I was saying yesterday. Everybody's expecting us to wait another 90 days to get a ruling from the judge. But we were expecting that last year. And guess what? The ruling came out on July 13th. Is history going to repeat itself? Let's wait and see. The masses will only want XRP after it blows up. You know, you are about to realize how smart you were by investing in XRP when it's sitting under 50 cents. Because guess what? Once it breaks $100, there's going to be people FOMOing in like never before. There's going to be people saying, I should have bought XRP when it was under 50 cents. That's how lucky you are to be here right now. That FOMO is coming. Now, there was a lot of talk about the XRP ETP today. Virtune XRP ETP, 1 million units outstanding, with 1 XRP per ETP. Now, what these EPTs seem to be doing is locking away some XRP. I'm sure it will lead to some price movement, but I'm not going to get excited about it and overhype it. I never thought we needed an ETF or an ETP for XRP. Smartphones are now the local bank in unbanked areas of the world. Once everyone is connected, that's when we will see the flip of the switch moment. They will not leave people behind in the new financial system. XRP and XLM are giving the world a level playing field. The chart shows how everything accelerated since COVID. We are close now. Is not the time to sell out of frustration. And you could see how everything accelerated since COVID. Look at where we are today. And, you know, that's what Ripple and Stellar are doing. They're banking the unbanked. You know how we go to the local branch at the bank? People in these countries, their bank is their phone. And, you know, that's game changing because before these people never had access to a bank account at all. They are not going to be left behind. Now, a lot of you asked me about Fit21. So take a listen to this right here.
But do you think the former president would be more friendly?
Well, Joe, it's good to be with you. Look, I think our Fit for Purpose Fit 21 Act that we passed in the House with 71 Democratic votes is exactly the kind of framework that President Trump would support were he reelected and brought back to the White House, because it directs the SEC and the CFTC precisely what kind of regulatory framework we need for crypto, for people who are innovating and starting a token crypto-related firm, how to trade, how to custody those assets, how to make sure consumers are protected. So that framework, I think, is the right approach, and I think that's what I would recommend to the president that he endorse if we haven't passed it between now and the end of this Congress.
You, as a vice chair of the Financial Services Committee, what else would you expect from a reelected President Trump?
Well, on the Financial Services Committee, I think you'll see that President Trump wants to be a pro-growth, pro-innovation president, and therefore something like the Fed and the supervisors are considering now this Basel III new capital standards for our commercial banking industry. I think that's a very pro-cyclical approach, meaning
I wanted to leave that go until he talked about Basel III, because that's going to change the entire banking system. People like Jamie Dimon are afraid of Basel III. But when we're talking about Fit 21, that allows the banks to get involved with digital assets. That's how innovation pushes ahead in this country. And I think Fit 21 will also give us a clear path forward for crypto. But take notice how they're already pushing the narrative that if Trump comes back, this is what you get. And they've been doing this around a lot of things because they're setting the stage for Trump to get reelected. That's what I've been saying all along. The Bahamas, the first country to issue a central bank digital currency called the sand dollar, is preparing regulations to mandate commercial banks to provide access to the e-money to boost adoption. You know what I took notice to is that all these countries that are getting ready to go live are going live with CBDC. The citizens, they don't want it. Nobody really wants to use it. So they have to come up with ways to force people to use central bank digital currency. And I think that's going to be a problem in every single country until they give big incentives. Once you bring about big incentives, all of a sudden everybody will want it. Free money, people will line up for miles to get free money. Zimbabwe introduces plan to jail individuals caught using the US dollar and other foreign currency for up to 10 years. Again, they want you using their currency only. We're going to see this happen in other countries as we continue to push into the digital age. Same thing's going to happen with the digital euro, the digital pound, the digital dollar. They're going to come up with ways to make people want to use it. Wow, 98% of banks worldwide plan core system upgrades to accelerate digital transformation. So it begins. But you see the core features and you see first generation, late 1970s, second generation, mid 1980s, late 1990s, third generation. And here we are now from 2015. 4th Gen Cloud Native platform attributes can act as a catalyst, innovation, and scale. They're going to do the biggest overhaul at the banks in the coming months. Things are already happening right now. The digital age is here, and it's not going to disappear. You know, everybody always thought, well, crypto is just going to be a passing phase. Crypto is the technology that is going to push us into the digital future. And it's already happening right now in real time. The biggest problem with the banks is they all want to stay in the past. They don't want these upgrades. Same thing with Swift. They're dragging their feet. But the problem is, once one bank starts going in this direction, everybody else has to follow. I keep hearing people suggesting Bitcoin will be a reserve of sorts, and things are priced in Bitcoin. It was never Bitcoin, and it will not be Bitcoin. Bank of Italy had put out this document. Decentralized blockchain cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, etc. Not clear which problem it solves. Clear is which problem it creates. Environment and fraud. No fundamental value. They have been telling you for a while now. Jamie, calling Bitcoin a hyped up fraud makes a lot more sense now. And we know that JP Morgan is also working with Ripple. Yes, JP Morgan is connected to ODL, on-demand liquidity, accounts for more than half of all Swift ISO transactions globally, and had a presentation highlighting Ripple with market makers. Connections on connections. They know. You know, what's going on in the background is you have JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon. He comes out, he says, listen, Bitcoin's nothing but a pet rock, or it has no value. But in the background, they're already working with Ripple, and they've been working with Ripple for years. That's why they don't see any value in Bitcoin. It's not going to be part of the future. In fact, once quantum computers get here, that might be the end of Bitcoin completely, because we know it's not quantum resistant. It's not ready for the new financial system. A MENA financial leader shows interest in blockchain technology while no formal partnership exists. Digital focus and global expansion align with Ripple's cross-border transaction solutions, suggesting potential future collaborations in financial innovation. You know, whenever they're looking at Ripple's technology or talking about Ripple's technology, you know who they're going to choose to help them push into the digital age. Dear crypto world, if anyone might misunderstand why many, not all, privately owned for-profit central bankers permitted to operate behind a legal curtain of secrecy called NGOs absolutely despise Ripple and XRP and will spare no expense to stop, defame, conduct lawfare, use regulatory capture, and hire global armies to disinformation specialists to defame challengers to their legacy monopoly. Please hear this European Commission advisor explain the why. This comes from Rob Cunningham. So you got to hear this.
That there is absolutely no need for central banks. This is the end of central banks. And I'll now give you an anecdote.
I had to
restart it. The very first meeting I had about blockchain was in the Financial Stability Board's Financial Innovation Network. And it was a meeting in the New York Fed, in the basement of the New York Fed, a very austere building. And on the one side of the room, there were central bankers, looking like central bankers look. And you can make your own picture as to what a central banker looks like. There's a few, or there's at least one in the room, and he doesn't look anything like a central banker. But they looked very much at a piece. And on the other side, there were hoodie-wearing geniuses, lunatics, libertarians, blockchain folk.
Libertarians and lunatics. said the official of the European Commission.
I'm not saying that the libertarians were lunatics. I said they were lunatics and libertarians. And they sort of said, well, we're developing this blockchain and Bitcoin and what have you, and this is the demonstration that there is absolutely no need for central banks. This is the end of central banking, which I thought was quite an entertaining and interesting position to put forward, especially at the New York Fed, in a room full of central bankers. If we didn't have financial market infrastructure now, imagine Jens walks into this office tomorrow and there's nothing there. An empty building, no computers, no nothing. And Jens's boss, assuming he has a boss, tells him, you have to build infrastructure. I am absolutely convinced that DLT will be a much bigger part of the technology stack Jens will use than he currently does. Because, of course, now they're sitting on huge amounts of legacy infrastructure, which is working okay, so you're not going to throw it overboard. But if you have to start from a clean slate, I'm convinced that DLT would be a much, much bigger part of the technology stack.
And that's why the central bankers hate blockchain technology, because it ends the central bank. Unless they choose to work with DLT, if they choose to work with crypto companies like Ripple. I think this is why we've seen Christine Lagarde say multiple times, praise Ripple, talk about the technology. Same thing with the BIS, same thing with SWIFT, because we are holding the future. And no matter how this plays out, us as XRP holders, we get rich from this. What did Ripple always say? What did David Schwartz always tell you? They are upgrading the current financial system, the current banking system, because they are already disrupting it. But you know, like I always tell you, until it happens, you gotta stay patient, stay positive, so we can get rich together. With that said, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.